Right, we're back on track, folks, and we're underway with the HCupR2 there, the second race for them for the weekend. It's a support class here at the New Zealand Superbike Championships, and qualifying on pole was Grant Cullen, Michael Patchett, Jesse Stroud, Alex Butson, Andrew McLaughlin, Sean Parker, Lauren May, Josh Augustine, Jacob Stroud, and Richard Cochrane. 10 bikes out there, a mixture of V-twins and parallel twins. They're not the Hyosung 250s, are just GT 250, the old ones, and the X4Rs, but a tight battle out the front as we're coming onto the front straight for the first time in this, I think it's an 8-lap race, is it? It was 8 laps, definitely an 8-lap, but it looks like Jesse Stroud style. Great to see Jesse back after crashing earlier on. Got taken out there in that chicane onto the front straight, but he's back out there racing and normally doing 3 classes this weekend. He's in there in second place, and the fastest man on the track, Andy McLaughlin. But that can be a little bit poison, that actual time, because that's taken at the timing stripe, and if you've gone from, the, say, a third or fourth row, you can actually be up to, say, 25, 30 k's an hour when you went across there. So you've got a bit of a flying start. So the real timing comes after 1 lap, after 2 laps, and that could be a little bit confusing. But right now, as I started the race, went across the stripe for the first time of 8 laps, Jesse Stroud, Andrew McLaughlin, Alex Butson, Grant Cullen, Michael Patchett, Jacob Stroud, Laura May, Josh Augustine, Richard Cochrane, and Sean Parker hasn't come through. Are we missing one there? Sean Parker? Anyway, whatever it is, there's no, I can't see any yellow flags out there. He may have not started. So that's 9 guys on the track. A bit of shuffling around. Jacob Stroud's moved up to 6th spot. Looking off into the distance. 2 guys got a breakaway. A little bit like the Gixxer Cup there, with those 2 lead bikes getting a break, but there's a pack there for 3 fighting out the minor money on the podium. 3rd place on the podium. We go back another 150 metres and there's another 3. I do want to put out a request again. If anyone has any updates of Shane Richardson, someone in the pits must be following Shane Richardson at Daytona this year. He's part of our family here. He's raced this New Zealand Superbike Championships 2 weekends ago at Hampton Downs. It'd be nice to have some updates so we can share it with the crowd there. Back over to you, Jared Love.
Yeah, it looks like Jesse Stroud got on the blocks real hard. It seems to have disappeared in the 150 class after the disqualification for yesterday, but jumped straight onto the 250. Flyer of a start. Such a little torso. It's real interesting. Come down onto the front straight and have a watch at him going down the front straight. Actually has to stand up to get his head in underneath the screen. Connor London told him that. Grip onto the bike and then tuck forward. Otherwise, you're sitting up a bit high. Great to see such a little guy out there doing such a good job.
38 kilos he weighs, 38 kilos, and that was a part of the problem. His disqualification is not anything except they didn't have enough weights on the bike, and it came to be they had to put so much weight on that Gixxer 150 and apply it to the right place that it wasn't going to be safe to ride, so they didn't run the weight. So right, the battle out the front now. Oh, Jesse was trying up on the inside there on turn 5 here at the Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park, and had to sit up there and lost a bit of pace, but he's got it all back there. He's pulling up beside the lead bike, which is Andy McLaughlin there from Christchurch, the lead bike, coming out of now turn 7. So this battle's keeping on going. Interesting wide line that Jesse takes into turn 1, but right now they're not even a bike length apart. In fact, there goes Jesse Stroud into the lead, going through turn 9, coming out of turn 9. And we go back into 3rd place, and we find Michael Patchett there. Michael Patchett, followed by Alex Butson, Grant Cullen, Jacob Stroud, the whole field, Laura May, Josh Augustine, Richard Cochrane, and Sean Parker. Off to the CTAS footage there, right up on the top of the circuit where we cannot see. And the battle still goes on. There's those 2 bikes. You'll see the 2 helmets. Actually, there's quite a spread there now, Jared Love. There's probably 40 metres. We'll see which is the fastest bike of the 2. It might not be a faster bike, but it might be the weight differential between, as I said, young Jesse Stroud at 38 kilograms, and I've no idea what Andy McLaughlin weighs. So they come off the front straight right now. Half a bike length in it. Stroud in 2nd place with Andy McLaughlin in the lead. The fastest lap so far, a 1:55. 1:18 for McLaughlin. Here we go, lining up here. Now watch this change of line at the end of the front straight. McLaughlin goes up more on the inside, but Stroud is right up high. Look, he leaves it a lot longer to break away. He can be on the brakes longer and that. You know a bit about that sort of cornering, Jared?
Yeah, he's definitely got a different technique, but it works. He goes in very nice and hot. He's got nice little lightweight and stuff, but it's so funny, like you see in the 600 class, Avi's not the tallest person. She's almost got a little booster seat, but the size of the booster seat that Jesse will need on that thing is pretty huge.
Yeah, so yeah, it's always interesting too. I remember Richard Scott saying some years ago. Richard Scott he went all the way to Grand Prix racing, did a lot of racing in Australia. Richard Scott from Wanganui, and he said it's not how fast you come into the corner, it's how fast you can get out of the corner. So you can be the first one. Yes, true, you can get in front of someone and block past them and block them and slow them down, but it's how you get that drive out of the corner, particularly on big corners like here at Te Taupo Bruce McCarron Motorsport Park, turn 11. How fast you get out of that corner onto that long straight is just it's just determines that thing. We go back to a bit of a slow motion replay by the two leaders, Andrew McLaughlin and Jesse Stroud. Meanwhile, Michael Patchett has set the fastest lap on the race now. Fastest lap at a 1:54.924, the only guy in the 154s. So that's quite interesting. You know, he's quite a bit quicker. He is on bike number 4 in 3rd place. Wow, that battle comes down this front straight here, or the long, it's not the front straight, the long side straight. Now, almost side by side, they open up a gap. This is tighter than the last lap. This is a lot tighter, but it is Jesse Stroud in the front now with Andy McLaughlin there in 2nd place. It's down to a braking duel into this flip-flop as we've got 5 laps to go. Over to you, Jared.
Yeah, great race at the front. Jesse's tried to run away, but McLaughlin seems to have him sorted. Michael Pachett's doing a great job there. Just did a 1:54. And then little McLaughlin has responded just on that lap, 54.9 as well. And the fastest was a 54.5. So those front 3 are definitely they're up to 2 seconds a lap faster than the rest of them.
It's a great class here. It's well subscribed of Aucklanders. In fact, most of the people, and when you go up to Hampton Downs, you'll see a huge amount of competitors in the Highest Sung Cup. But it's got some major sponsors there with Highest Sung New Zealand, WIL Sport is a strong supporter there, as well as Carl Cox Motorsport. The lead is going out of turn 5 into turn 6, which is over towards the hairpin. You can see the Pirelli signs in the background. Look at that. Stroud takes the high line there, trying to get Andy McLaughlin. Tucks up on the inside, pulls up parallel to them. Does he get the pass in? No, a better drive speed there for Andy McLaughlin there, coming out of there. He's got now 4 to 5 bike lengths. That's quite a substantial bit here, but remember the weight differential with young Jesse Stroud there. In the meantime, Michael Patchett there in 3rd place there, about 100 metres away from it. They go right up to turn 11, the top corner there, the one closest to Lake Taupo. Who's it going to be coming into that corner? It still is Stroud in 2nd place with Andrew McLaughlin there on bike number 37 in the lead. Jesse Stroud is on number 27. Michael Patchett on number 4, followed by Grant Cullen, 22. Alex Butson on 18 in 5th place. Josh Augustin, 89. Lauren May there on 43. He's gone past ahead of Jacob Stroud on the bike number 8, and Sean Parker's out there in 9th place on 61. Place number 8 for Jacob Stroud, bike number 15. Over the start-finish line for 61, Richard Cochrane there, about to be lapped. Great to see him out there. There's no first, there's no last, and he'll be getting lapped in a wee while, but there it is. It is still 37. Andrew McLaughlin, what was the gap then? 2.2 of a second, a quarter of a second. So this lap is going to possibly come into playing a part, but that's live from motorcycle racing, isn't it, Jared?
Jesse looks like he's got some great corner speed. He seems to be sizing him up. He's lining up a couple different moves. That's why he's sitting on the back. It is really easy to ride shotgun and follow someone around. They're setting the pace, and Andrew McLaughlin's doing a great job out there in front. But the three of them are in the 54s, and then we go back to Grant Cullen, who's doing a great job in the 55s. Then it's dropping back to 56s, which is Alex Busson. And then we've got Jacob Stroud down in 6th place. Jacob's out there at the front of all of the other packs, and he's struggling. Maybe there must be a bit of a difference between that X4R 250 to the different one that his brother's X4R as well that Jesse's riding.
Righty-ho, we've got 3 laps to go here in the Carl Cox Motorsport Highest Sung Cup class, and a support class for the last 2 rounds at the Nationals, and a group of people amongst them all, and still is Andy McLaughlin in the front, Jesse Stroud, followed by Michael Patchett, Grant Cullen, Alex Butson. Jacob Stroud's gone up to 6th place. He's pushed back Josh Augustin, Lauren May, Sean Parker and Richard Cochrane. So how close are these lap times? Fastest lap, 14.567 by Sean Parker, and that is, he's in last place. He's in last place, so it's interesting, isn't it? Not often a last place man gets fastest lap. We've got a 1:54.5 598 154 542 154 238. So Michael Patchett in third place. While these two front guys are battling it out, he's slowly closing the gap. He's about 3 seconds behind, but he's battling it out. Do you think there's enough time with 3 laps to go that maybe Michael Patchett can get on to these two front guys, Jared?
I don't think so. I think he's sort of riding shotgun and he's maintained the gap. Like, they're doing very similar ones. Jesse there responding, doing a 54.0. Andy McLaughlin pushing on, doing a 53.9. I think those front two are going to have a little dust up with only 2 laps to go. Jesse looks like he should have sussed him out and been sorting a place to actually scoot by. So if he's smart, he'll sit behind, wait, and then do the move on Andrew McLaughlin and give him no time to respond.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's all about response time too, because here goes Jesse up on the inside there as we go into turn 6, coming up to the out of turn 6 into the hairpin there. So he's sort of telling him that he's there. So is that trying to rattle Andy McLaughlin? I don't think Andy McLaughlin will be rattled by that. But it's one thing getting past, but you've also got to know, after following someone for so long, you've got to learn where they're actually possibly better than you. So when you do your pass, it's no good being pinched back the next thing, and then they might be able to shut you out for the next corner. So it's a smart way to ride. And of course, the whole Stroud family are pretty smart, and they've been around the racetrack for so many years. I can remember when Andrew Stroud won the post-classic race at Hampton Down, a 4-lap race. He stalled on the start line of the Macintosh, and he shot through and got the win. And young Jesse turned around and says, he's an animal, just the way he rode that thing. He certainly just did the Andrew Stroud thing, and he's learned a lot. All the young Stroud boys. It'd be great to see Caleb back on a race bike, and of course there's more coming through the group, and there's a whole lot of ladies. And I think they're 50-50 with girls and boys in the family. Right now, 2 laps to go. The white flag gets ready, and Jesse Stroud on number 27 sits there in second place. So the action is all on. We've been waiting for this all race long to see where he's going to make his move. Up to turn 1 here. 37, Andy McLaughlin in the front. Stroud goes on the high line, tucks back in. Is he trying to do? He's round the outside, makes the track a little bit longer. Could he be lining up for the next corner? Could he be lining up? The last times Jesse Stroud was 0.2 of a second, but he's still got to get past a 53.572 as opposed to a 53.729, so 0.2 of a second. They're going into turn 9 here, sorry, 9, no, it is 5, I'm confusing the map here. Out of that, well out of that now, into turns, off towards the hairpin here, over towards the airfield there. Where's he going to get him, Jared?
He was lining a move there down into turn 5. He went wide, but he is real good. He runs a high line here. He's gone a narrow line this time. He's going to try and use his little weight advantage and sneak up the inside. No, it hasn't worked. He's had a good look, and it looks like he's got far better corner speed, so he's going to scoot out wide and then try and square him off, and it will be interesting. You just touched on it before. Andrew doing his ghost-like moves over the years. He would be sitting back in a position you think, oh, Andrew Stroud's going to do nothing, then boom, all of a sudden, he just turns up from nowhere. So it's going to be interesting to see if Jesse can do much the same.
Ooh, quite a bit of a gap there up at the top corner there. The one off towards Taupo, 2 and 11. There was probably 4 to 5 bike lengths. And look at them, you can't see exactly what the bike lengths are down this long straight here. This is the final lap of the HCupR2 Cup. Michael Patchett's in third place. It is still, I think, who was that in the front, is it? It still is McLaughlin in the front, or is that McLaughlin? Here comes Stroud with the lightweight advantage there, trying to break up in the inside, but there's not two way to put 2 bikes through that corner, so it will be a drag through this next corner to the line. 5 bike lengths, 4 bike lengths, 3 bike lengths behind. I got to say, Andy McLaughlin's going to have this. He's going to have the drive out of here, but Stroud tries everything all over the place, breaks the slipstream. 0.1 of a second between first and second. Let's go down to third place. Michael Patchett there comes through on the bike number 4. So a creditable ride for him. And there is, while it's not a championship series, there is still round honours as well with 3 races and 75 points available. So in 4th place it was Alex Butson. So we're looking at, is Grant Cullen still there? Because he's shoved him down there a bit. Grant Cullen. That was another number 4 goes through there. I'm a bit confused by that because it's showing 22 on our screen. 43.21 goes through there. 43 is Lauren May, Jacob Stroud. 43.21, I don't have a 21 up there. So we got a little bit of confusion here. But anyway, it was 43.21. My eyes picked up that, didn't quite catch